Good afternoon, friends. Ben-Nun here with Israeli News Live on our Patreon channel. And I am just going to highlight a little bit of this information here because I'm still working on this on a much deeper level for you guys about the issue with Planet X. And I just recently, I'd shared over on our Patreon channel a little bit of information there. A 30-second clip appears on the YouTube channel Israeli News Live as well. And the reason why I couldn't put the entire thing there and couldn't even put it here on Patreon is because of the sensitivity when I got into the DNA manipulation. Not so much the fact of DNA being manipulated in the time past for the Planet X and its crossing through our solar system, but because, and I can say it here, at least this part of it, it's because right now it's been revealed through the inside connections that I have that little thing that they keep sticking in people, it's become a mandate. If you if you want to work, things like that, that has been told to me that they know it manipulates your DNA. And it is the strongest words ever used in the course of the conversations that I've had as to why. And not just why, but it is fallen angel technology that specifically is being used. And the DNA of the human race is being manipulated for the very reason of what you see on the screen here, just to the, I guess that'd be to the right of me on the screen. So as I got brought into this to research this to see if this has been done before, specifically the passing of that comet you see passing on the screen there, a lot of questions have been raised, a lot of questions. But I wanted to share some notes with you about some of the effects that we're feeling right now. Why are we feeling those already? And a lot of this I want to share because it also deals with as we're watching the situation, say for example with Paul Begley's conference that he did with the different speakers, Mike from around the world, also with Gil Broussard and one other gentleman, I forget his name, but I really want to go back and listen to his presentation. I haven't done it yet, as of yet. But there's differing opinions about this passing of this planet. And I know that the friends that I have are very, very much adamant that we're still looking at visibility 2029, the actual passing at the end of 2030, beginning of 2031. And they said you can never know for sure what that timing is because of this elliptical orbit that it's in. But the problem that I'm seeing right now, and that they see as well, is that there are 3 different bodies that can be tracked, and people could easily get those bodies confused. So I'm thinking to myself, who's tracking which one and why? I was told by one friend, and I haven't listened to Gil Broussard's presentation either, but Gil had put it happening this year. And I shared that with you guys already. I was told that Gil is actually tracking a comet that's coming, and they know it's supposed to come this year, but it's not supposed to have the cataclysmic effects as what Planet X will. Planet X and this comet that's associated with it, or the comet planet as it's called, is supposed to be a body that will cause, as it was put to me, it will actually cause, what do you call that? Extinction level event. Sorry, I went blank for a second. Extinction level event. One of the things that was brought up in our conversations about a week ago was I asked about the changes that we're experiencing then. Why are we seeing these experiences already on the planet? So many things are supposed to be happening even this year. And I even know in some of the meetings I've been in, they've talked about within a year we would see an earthquake so powerful in the ocean floor that it'll literally rip through the earth and open up between the inner Earth's oceans and our oceans. I've been told that we could expect to see creatures coming up from the inner Earth that will begin to appear more and more on the earth as a result of all these activities. And of course, the extraterrestrials, the fallen angels, they're no longer throttling the energy off the earth around the volcanoes, which is making our earth far more volatile. So I've been told about that. But they said that changes we are experiencing right now are primarily our rays coming into our solar system, from this Planet X system that we are tracking. And so these are affecting other celestial bodies like, and there are other celestial bodies that are like Planet X, similar in nature, and they are also affecting other planets in our solar system and our sun too, which affects us very much. So that's the other issue we're dealing with. Like I said, there's already 3 systems that they're tracking, and all these different systems affect planets. They affect the sun affects the earth, and we're basically, it's the rays that are coming off of the systems that are causing all these troubles that we're seeing right now on the earth. I was also told, not sure how all this is connected, and also the zones, or rather the ether, or other dimensions, are also starting to affect us. These zones are changing on a daily basis, and that's according to the CERN scientists themselves. In fact, I was told that the CERN scientists, which the majority of the CERN scientists are not believers in the first place, they don't believe in Jesus, but they have become more and more open to the real possibility that there is a heaven, there is a hell, there is a devil, there is a God, because they are seeing creatures through the way that CERN works in multi-dimensions like never before. They are dealing with archonic beings. They have dealt with races of entities that they never knew existed. They are being contacted by entities that they never knew existed. Another thing that's being done right now as well is they're tracking what they call giant worms in our own atmosphere. Although they are not visible to our naked eye, because our eye is channeled to the whatever dimension frequency that we're able to see in, we have instruments that can track these giant worms, and I've been told that these worms are anywhere from 10 to 20 foot in length. Yeah, imagine that. Imagine if they could become visible to you, what you would do, right? But these travel in our atmosphere, and yet all these things are going on, and nobody is paying attention to what's happening on this earth. So it's really crazy, and things are really strange, things that are happening right now. I don't know which direction these things are going to go, but I do know that there is a tremendous amount of concern right now about all the events that I'm telling you about. Also, they are starting to believe, okay, I already got into that part there. The advancement we have made in study of the ether, but yet the changes are occurring so fast, we just can't keep up with it, is the way it was explained to me there. And I've got tons of more notes. I still need to be able to decipher and share with you guys things that are going on. But I do know that the concerns in our country, in our government, with these scientists that, not just scientists, we have ancient document scholars that work for our government. And of course, it's a combination of everything. You take the scientists that are tracking this Planet X, they know that there's extraterrestrial life on it. They know that we are being faced with an enormous threat and challenge to this earth. And the document examiners that are versed in different languages and are scholars in their own right in different types of forms, whether they be Hebrew or Aramaic, or if they're in the case of French, where they study Nostradamus's writings. If you take the scholars that study, for example, the Tibetan writings, or you'd be surprised at all the different documents that are studied from different ancient languages, and they're in a mad rush and a search to find out what's going on. And then also knowing that we have people that work with different fallen angel entities within the government, and they're concerned. What are they up to? What is going to go on? What's going to happen? And so even like little old guy like me out here out in the middle of nowhere, they reach out to try to get a perspective. As it was told to me, maybe there's something Steve has seen that we've missed. That lets me know that there's a very grave concern. And there are people that do work in our government that do care about humanity still, and are hoping somehow or another to be able to thwart or at least minimize the risk that we will face on this earth in the not so distant future. So if you would, pray for us, pray for me, pray for those people that are diligently trying to find answers and ways to be able to help us, to let us know the things that are coming. But after all, I realize this is a battle that only Jesus Christ is going to be able to win. And I know from many of the documents that I have studied, I see what they're talking about. I see the things that are coming. I know from study of ancient documents and things that there is, it clearly defines a war of a magnitude of demonic entities like never before. And Yana, when she was speaking at the conference here, she mentioned how that we have overlooked Paul's words. When Paul said, you wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities. Literally, archon, archaea, however it is, it's written in there in the Greek language. As she said, Paul was already telling you about these types of entities, warning you that you would be fighting against them. And but yet we make light of that. We fail to realize that we are not wrestling a flesh and blood battle. This is not Russia against the United States or Russia and Ukraine or something like that. This is much, much deeper. And while the entities, these devils, in other words, these fallen angel devils are trying to busy us to fight against ourselves, that's so that we become weaker and it becomes easier for them to overthrow humanity. So think about it. Stephen Ben-Nun with Israeli News Live here on our Patreon channel. Thank you for listening. And I will, as quickly as I can, get this next broadcast up, get more of this information out to you. Probably a lot of little short ones, but I think they'll be a blessing. Thank you for listening, and good evening.